Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Skaggle Bones, welcome to the show. I'll be your host today. We've got a new video for you today. So today we're going to be doing some handlebar tape replacement. As you can see, I got one side already done with a nice new, if you're like, whoa, that looks really weird. Yeah, it's a new lizard skin, new style lizard skin handlebar tape. The DSP Durasoft polymer bar tape, 2.5 millimeter thickness. That's what it's going to look like when it's on. You get the bar tape. You get your, if I can pull it out, your backing strip. And you get your two bar plugs, which I never use because for some reason these don't stay in as good as the originals. And the giant ones that I have on this, even though they're cheap and plastic, they feel like they stay in here better. I recorded a video for this first one, but ran into some issues, so I'm going to be posting up one for the other side. So we're going to be doing the other side. So I've already got the one side done. Like I said, ran into some issues, so we're recording this for the other side. So first thing you want to do, make sure you have all your stuff. So we're going to have all our bar tape here. And you also have your finishing tape as part of it. So you want to put that to the side. Don't take the backing off on the finishing tape yet, or else you're not going to be able to use it. Okay, so you got your backing tape. You're going to put that to the finishing strip. And then the backing strip, you have this one piece that goes over where the brake levers are to hide that. And lizard skin, if you actually go on their YouTube channel, you can also see a video how to do the lizard skin stuff by Lizard Skin, and they use this and also do a figure eight. So I'm going to be showing you that way, because there is, even with a figure eight with these new brake levers, there's about 1 millimeter of space in there that there's possibility you could see it at, and so I don't really like it. It's mostly on the inside. Outside you wouldn't really see it that much, but so I wrap it. Now some people don't like doing the figure eight because it makes kind of a bulge here, but no one grabs right up in here anyways. If you're going to be gripping, you're going to be gripping down in here on the drop, so not a big problem. So most people grip up here, they don't grip up here. I feel that bulge. The nice thing is with that bulge, if I feel it and I don't go up too high anyways, so, or you're going to be gripping down here, okay? So a couple things about wrapping your bar tape. First thing you're going to want to do is get all your tools ready. So a couple things you're going to need. You should need some shears, and then I get like a flathead screwdriver, and that's to take the bar end out. Obviously your bar tape, get yourself a rubber mallet like so. You don't have to use a rubber mallet, but I mean you could use a regular hammer and then like cloth or something, but I always use this to tap the bar end in because they tend to be a little finicky. Okay, 1 second here, folks. Grab myself a drink. Nice Coke. And then I have a lighter, okay, and this is going to be to melt the finishing tape. And then a little probe or a scribe to flatten that out, okay. And then also your electrical tape, by the way. So we got our electrical tape up here, and you can use any color if you don't want to use the finishing tape that comes with it. But I really like lizard skins. As you can see here, it's not gaudy and it flows right with the color of the bar tape, so you can't even tell that it's anything different. It just looks like a wrap that's on there. Okay. So first thing you want to do, pull the hood back, and then you want to quickly go ahead and get rid of the electrical tape that's on the bottom here, or on the top. Just pull that off. We're going to be throwing this old tape away, so I'm just going to unwrap it. And I'm going to show you a trick. There's a little trick, because what I like is if you have an accident, and it also helps you in the wrapping process, but if you ever have an accident and this rips down here, lizard skin doesn't rip really that easy, but if you have cork tape This is a must for cork or foam tape. Even though this is really stretchy, there's a possibility that you could just slice through that stuff, rip it, right? And if that rips like that, and you don't, it could rip and just keep tearing. And then you got a blank spot on your bar and handlebars, and if you're racing, that can be a pain. If you're just doing a social ride, it's not that big of a deal, but either way, I don't like having ripped bar tape when I'm riding. So what we're going to do is we're going to take standard electrical tape and we're going to tape it backwards. By the way, this is where we take our, readjust the camera there we go. So we're going to take our screwdriver, we're going to kind of wedge it in here and pop our bar end off. By the way, if you don't use the bar ends, if you use your original bar ends, keep your bar ends that came with them, because if for some reason your old ones pop off, you got extra ones. If you're at a race, I always throw them in my saddle bag and I use them. I keep them just in case I lose them. The last thing you want is to fall and hit yourself on the end of this bar, especially if it's aluminum, and pretty much shank yourself. So pull this stuff off. You're going to have some tape. You might have some glue here, which Giant uses to keep the bar tape on, so I just kind of peel that off. You can use a little bit of this nail polish remover to get rid of it if you need to. It's not coming off and it's sticky. Throw your bar tape away, so you're not going to need the old stuff. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our electrical tape and we're going to put some reverse, we're going to put it on backwards. Okay, now you can have it go into the bar end. You don't really have to if you don't want to. You can just kind of start it here if you want to. I'm going to start it here first so that I get a starting of it, and then I'm going to wrap out for a second, like so. And wrap back. The reason I do that is I can push a little bit of the bar tape in, and then when I push, the electrical tape in, when I push the bar tape in, it will actually stick to that electrical tape on the inside. And it's just, that's not so much to prevent from ripping, it's just more or less to prevent from it unraveling. It's just to prevent it from popping out. It makes it stick a little bit easier when you're finishing this off. So I wrap all the way up to about here on the handlebars, because that's anywhere where it could hit if you have an accident. You don't have to really overlap the electrical tape that much, because you want to overlap it a little bit, but all you're trying to do is lay down a layer of stickiness. So you want the bar tape to stick to the electrical tape. So you keep wrapping. Now I'm going to wrap some up here on the top, because that way if something was to happen up here or you're to twist the wrong way, it wouldn't unravel. And it helps when you're wrapping in your wrapping process. I don't wrap down here. I don't wrap the electrical tape here, because this part I'm going to have to adjust it a couple times possibly during the course of wrapping the bar tape. If I was a pro mechanic, I wouldn't have to, just because of the fact that you're wrapping bar tape every day. And I don't wrap bar tape every day, it's once a month I do bar tape. So you're going to come up to here. Some people will wrap their whole bars like this. I don't. I just come up here and then I come over like this because I don't want it to flap around. I grab my scissors and I just do that right there. Bam. And that's good and tacky. Okay. Now what I am going to do, though, I'm going to make some normal wraps over the cables, because I don't want these to. There is a little bit of tape here that the Giant put on, but they didn't put. It's clear tape and it's not that good. It's just kind of some cheapy stuff, some basic stuff that they put before they wrap the handlebar tape off. So I'm going to give this a couple of good wraps. Not a lot, just a couple of good wraps like that. Okay. Just like so. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to grab our handlebar tape, grip tape, whatever you want to call it. We're going to pull off the wrapper. Nice thing is the lizard skin keeps it covered so the stuff doesn't. And then you're going to unroll it. Now you have backing here, and you don't want to fully pull that off until you get, I don't fully pull it off until I get to here. I do pull off about half of it. Now, one thing you want to remember is when you grip the handlebars, you push out, you want to take your bar tape and wrap outward. You want to wrap from this side, and you want to start with your bar tape going this way and then wrapping down and around and outward, okay? If you're like me and you push more inward, okay? If you have really wide handlebars, you'll tend to probably push inward, okay? If you have very super narrow handlebars and you're a bigger guy, then you might push outward a little bit, especially when you're sprinting. But I tend to push in no matter what, so I'm going to start and I'm going to wrap inward. So first thing we want to do, I always start with the inner roll because that's kind of tightly round, and I'm going to take the backing tape, let's see here, halfway down so that I got plenty of room to move, and then I'm going to start, and there's a little bit of sticky tape on the back, and I'm going to go right to where that is, right to the edge of the handlebar. Okay, and I'm going to put that right at the edge of the handlebar, like so, and I'm going to wrap, make one full wrap, like this, and that's just so I have enough to tuck in inside the handlebars, and then as soon as the tape hits now, some people like this all the way to the bottom. It doesn't like this here, but the way I'm going to do it and show you, it doesn't matter. So you put it here like this, you come all the way around, make one full turn, and then once you cross over, once this touches here at the bottom, I very sharply pull the handlebar tape over, and then I just start to cover the logo, the upper logo of the lizard skin, where it says lizard skin, okay? Then I make another full wrap like that, and then I come and I just complete, there's a little, the foam part of the bottom part of the lizard skin is tapered, and so I put that taper right over the logo, and then that puts the backing tape right on the edge of the rubber and right on the edge of the handlebars, okay? Just like that. So that leaves over half the amount of tape exposed, the handlebar tape. And I'm going to just kind of leave it like this. Now lizard skin says not to super stretch it. You don't want to stretch it. You want to keep it tight tension on it, but don't stretch it. Then I'm going to tuck in all the tape. And the reason I make a full circle on the bottom is because that way when you go and put in, you're going to take your plug, and I start by putting this in first because I want to make sure the plug goes in nice and smooth and I don't have any problems. It's going to look nice. I make sure the giant logo is up if I'm using the original. And I tap it in like so. Okay. Now the reason, if I'm not happy with it, I can pull it out and reposition it. Now, one of the reasons that I make a very sharp transition, I'll show you here, between this part, like so. If I'm not happy with the way the transition is, I can just unwrap it and make the transition a little tighter, like this. And then I pull it real tight this way and kind of curve it up, and then I can come back and straighten it out, the tape out a little bit. Okay? Because what I'm trying to do is I want it so that there's no overlap to where the bar end goes in. So I want it to look like it's just one solid piece of tape, And there's no weird transitions or no extra flaps of tape. So I'm just going to keep now wrapping, making sure this sticky backing is touching not only the tape itself, but it's also touching the handlebar itself. So you want it to stick to both. Now, Lizard Skin makes awesome tape, but even their backing isn't, you know, it doesn't 100% stick to the handlebars. So, like I said, if you really want stuff to super stick to the handlebars, and you want to also make sure your spacing's even on the bottom, by the way. If you just, like I said, just wrap your entire handlebars with upside down electrical tape, and that'll keep everything stuck together very nicely. So, and it'll keep it a nice firm tension. And you just keep wrapping it like so. Just keep wrapping. Like I said, I'm looking underneath it, making sure that I'm even between the top and the bottom. Now, at some point when you go on the curve, the top portion of the tape is going to have less of a gap. It's going to have a little bit more overlay than the bottom portion is, and that's fine. Just don't worry about that. It's just the way it is because of the fact that this, unlike electrical tape, it doesn't stretch as much. Some bar tape is extremely flexible, extremely malleable. You can just stretch the heck out of it and it'll really work really well. So I'm going to get to this. I'm right at this portion right here. I still got some sticky tape here. I'm going to kind of just leave that there like this. I'm going to get this little strip here. I'm going to take it, I'm going to measure it like so. Okay. I'm going to get my scissors. And I'm going to put it back here. Now, you don't have to do this. If you do a figure eight, you really don't have to do this, but I'm doing it just so you guys see it. I normally don't use this back piece, and what this does is covers the metal portion of the brake lever, or the shifter lever. So, and then I just come in like so, and I go snip, pop that off, that's fine. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, you're just trying to hide that back portion. Okay, and then I will take that and kind of set it right here on my brake lever. And I won't put that on until I get right up next to it and I can fully wrap over it. And like I said, Lizard Skin says to still make a figure eight. So even though you're wrapping, you put this around there, they still say do a figure eight, and that way you get everything fully covered and it looks really professional. I'm going to take the backing tape off. I had to do that with my teeth. Don't do that at home, folks. Tuck it in under the brake hood, like so. The other side goes under part of the lever itself. I kind of just hold it in place, and this is the tricky part because it doesn't always want to stay, and I guess you could take your electrical tape and run it backwards over that section and it would keep it in there, but once you start to get your regular tape over top of it, like right here, it's going to stay in place anyway, so not a big deal. I'm going to peel more of the backing tape off. And I'm up underneath the lever. And then this is where you kind of start your figure eight. So what we do is I come up from the outside and I come up over the top of the handlebar like so. Okay. And I'm coming up over the frame of the brake lever like this. and I come back around like this, and I do a little bit of figure eight, come back underneath. And then I come back up like this. Wait a minute. No, I did that wrong. Because I'd be going forward now with my tape. So, see, I reversed myself. Okay, so, hold on. I always get confused on this side. So, come around. Come up this way. Sorry. Come to the. Come over from the inside. Yeah. So you come over, you come from the inside up around the top of the brake lever. So that's why I always get. And then once you come down, you wrap one more around the front here. Like so. And then you come back. No, I don't like that. That's not right. You're supposed to come up and around and over. Gosh darn it. Let's see here. So I always get confused on the opposite handlebar. Yeah, I don't do it enough. I come up and around. Yeah, like this, sorry. You do come up and around from the inside. It's just you come around the back, okay? So you're right here. You have still a portion left. You come up and around the top portion, and this is why having the tape, the back portion here is kind of a pain in the rear end. Just does not work that well. Nope. Back and around and a rewrap. Because yep, there we go. So you come up underneath now, and you're covering up that little portion under there, brake lever, like so. Now you can pull the rest of the tape off at this point. And then you're going to come up. Now you don't have to cover this much of the shift lever. Okay? You really don't. I just do it because it's kind of habit. Because I'm used to doing this without the backing, without that backing portion. And this is where you really have to stretch the tape at this point. You really have to stretch it tight. Get it tight in here. And you'll have a little bit of stretching. And then you're coming back around. Now, if you want to reverse it, you want to have it facing forward, you can reverse the direction of the tape. If the way I started to do it the first time, that's how you would do it if you had to reverse the direction because you were wrapping outward on the bottom half. I never recommend wrapping it going forward, I never recommend doing that. Reason being is your hands always are going to pull back on the tops. They're never going to push forward. Just no one does that. The only time you push forward is if you're jumping up out of your saddle and sprinting, and you should never have your hands on the tops of the levers and sprinting and being out of the saddle. If you ever have your, by the way, you can pull these back and make sure everything is covered. Make sure the brake hoods fit over everything really nice and snug. And then you can keep going. So right now at this point right here, I'm going to leave this here. And as I said, I'm going to take a section of tape here like so. I'm going to go backwards with it like we did. Just barely overlapping it. And this will do two things. It'll provide some stickiness for here so that this bar tape sticks to it a little bit better. And then also it'll kind of cover up the shift levers a little bit better, like that. So just rub it on there. You can put your hands on the sticky part of the tape, it ain't gonna hurt it. So you come around like so, come back around like that. And you're coming around here, I cover up a little bit less the bar tape because I'm going to be actually wrapping it on some sticky portion of the tape. And it's not going to come off. Normally my concern with wrapping handlebars is the fact that the bar tape will come loose. But if you use this method where I'm trying to space it the same as I did over here on this side, so a couple of these first wraps here are going to be a little bit tighter. No big deal. And you're going to come all the way around. You're going to come right to here. Making sure this is wrapped really good. Sure, I got plenty of tape on here because we want it even. Okay, so I'm going to come to here because our other bar tape is right to here, so we have, I can actually take a measuring tape and I can measure how far off we are. So from where the logo is, we got 1 inch. So we want to come right to there. Okay, away from the tape. So we're going to now take our scissors. And once again, So we're going to come an inch away, and then what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut this way. We don't want this edge cut over here, we want to cut this edge, which may sound a little counterintuitive, but that's all we're going to do. So we're going to come up here like so.
One's coming on 7.
We're gonna wrap this all the way around, and then I'm gonna cut it off here because we're not gonna use all the tape. So we got about, let's see here. Right about here. I'm going to go right to here. And I'm going to kind of cut it as a curve. And it ended up a little sloppy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. And I'm going to kind of trim it a little bit to make it even. And you say, why do you cut it on a curve? The reason is, when it's actually on the bar, it'll kind of give you an optical illusion that it's, because when I'm pulling this, I'm kind of pulling it like so, and I'm pulling this even like this. Like right there. And then now you're going to take your electrical tape. Now I'm going to take, and this is really kind of a preference thing, I'm going to cut that little nip off right there. So remember, the cut in always faces out. Then we're going to take our electrical tape. Now I'm not going to go onto the actual handlebars. I don't want the electrical tape going onto the sticky part going on the handlebars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my electrical tape. I'm going to start it over top, and I'm just going to go the edge of the bar tape, pulling back and going all the way over top. I'm going to make 1 or 2 wraps. Okay. Now, if I was going to use this as my finishing tape, right, then what I would do is I would then take and light either a piece of a spoke or something and score it. But because I'm not, I'm putting the finishing tape on, and I don't really care where I end this piece. Normally I would end it at the bottom, but I don't really care because I've got finishing tape that's going to go over it. So I'm not going to stretch it. I'm just going to put it there like that and end it right there. Now we got our finishing tape, and you want the lizard skin writing to face forward. And I already know that if I come around like here, like so, I start right at the gray portion where it says contact. it'll come all the way to the bottom and end right at the bottom, okay? Because that's where I really want it to end at. So now, and if you don't know, kind of wrap it on there with the backing tape on it. That way you don't ruin the finishing tape, because you're going to only get one chance really with the finishing tape. So then I take the backing off, finishing tape, and I always start with this side here. And the lizard skin stuff is made to go off onto the handlebars. So I'm going to go right to the edge of where the black electrical tape is, because this is pretty wide stuff. And I'm going to wrap it kind of pull it tight. And then as I go over the other portion of the tape, and make sure it's even and not folding over itself. I'm going to tuck it up under itself. Now if this was white tape, I wouldn't score it, just because it would look bad. I'm going to take my screwdriver, I'm going to take my lighter, I'm not going to come underneath it. I'm going to kind of just do that. A little bit. Making sure not to get my outer cables or my... Just real quickly. Another way you can do it is you can actually take your lighter and heat up. If you're using plain electrical tape, take my lighter and I heat up the tip of the, one second, you heat up the tip of the flathead screwdriver or a spoke or something like that, scribe, whatever you want to, heat it like that. You just take it and you press it on there. And then that will melt finishing tape into itself. Okay, so there we go. We got our fresh, brand new bar tape from Lizard Skin. As you can see, looks really good, really professional. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure you give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave some comments in the comment section below. If you got any questions concerning how to do this, or what we used, anything we used, I'll try to leave some links in the description below. Really like this color. They have a couple other colors. They had a white and a gray, but I figured the black and gray would probably not get as dirty as easily, and whatever little bit of change in color you're going to get in the white is probably not going to show up that much, and it gives kind of a nice contrast to the bike overall. So that's it for me today. I'm Skaggy Bones. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and like always, keep riding.